Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of What If Obito Traveled Back in Time. So, I am going to cover the because yesterday while I was recording 2 hours for 70 minutes of the video, like my voice was not recorded for most of the video, so this was going to be in part 1, but I had to separate it to part 2 now. So yeah, if you did not watch the last part, go watch it before you watch this one, because I won't do anything like what happened in the last part. I won't do anything like that. Okay, so let's start the what if now. Obito's point of view. I sighed at the man in front of me. Pathetic. About 4 hours into the journey, we were attacked by a group of ninjas. Or well, they used to be ninja. Or well, they used ninjutsu and taijutsu, but wore no headbands. Other words, I don't know their affiliation. They could be traitors, missing ninjas, or even rogue ninjas. But why am I calling them pathetic, you may ask? The answer is simple. As a high class murderer, leader of a criminal organization, and the starter of the fourth great ninja war, I know how to do things, and these guys certainly don't. They use no time to see our specialities. I bet these guys don't even know that I use fire style related jutsus. They had come out of the blue fast. They made sure to separate us. But at least I knew that Sensei would have this handled. Hey, I know. Hey, now that I think about it, this perfect. This is perfect. I have been waiting to check something out. I quickly made the necessary hand signs, and when I was done with them, I yelled, "Fire style, flame formation!" And wouldn't you know, four red walls shot up around me, and the other guy looked something between terrified and impressed, which must mean he knows what this jutsu is used for. Now we won't be interrupted, I said. But you are just a kid. To know this level of jutsu, he cut himself off mid sentence. We are at war. You know what you have to do. To me, it's just training, and a little more training. I lied. I walked closer to him. He started to step back. Ha! A grown man terrified of a little kid. Guess he wasn't paying much attention to his surroundings, because as he took a step back, his left elbow connected with the barrier, thereby getting set on fire. He proceeded to wave his arms around, making the fire bigger. He was trying to make the fire go out, but of course, that only made it bigger. Yep, definitely pathetic, I sighed. The man's stupidity, and snapped my fingers, putting the barrier down, putting the fire out of the elbow. However, the fire did a bit of damage. He wasn't able to move and arms, probably because the wound created by the fire. He held his right hand over the wound, probably trying to ease the pain. I looked at him, but I did not see a killer nor a criminal. I just saw a man, a wounded and pained man. Even though I'm been saying man, he looked to be no older than 19 years old. I sighed again, started to walk towards him. I can't believe how soft you made me, Naruto, I thought. We had met up again. Luckily, everyone's safe, and everyone said the same. Said it at the same time. What a bunch of amateurs! I have brought the guy I fought. He was pretty terrified, and therefore told us everything, and that they were only low levels. The majority were genin, but they had a couple of chunin. Calling them evil wouldn't fit. They are just some youngsters who don't know what to do with their lives. And while they try to figure that out, this is an easy way to make money. Please don't put any charges. We didn't know that you were Shinobi on a mission. Please. Sensei sighed deeply and then said, "We won't put up any charges, but we will hand you in. I already sent a shadow clone to the nearest village." The village was small, but luckily there were a couple of hunter ninjas with free time on their hands. They should arrive shortly. The low-class ninja we fought had been taken into custody, but now it seems that everyone was keeping a close eye on me. I'm guessing it was because of what that criminal said right before being sent away. I, as the hunter said their tanks walked away, but one I fought stopped. He was quiet for a bit, as if checking with the hunter if he could speak. I don't know who you are, nor how you got that at that level at your age, but as the student of the Yellow Fast, I should expect that you would be completely off the charts for a 13-year-old. Mr. Namakaze, you trained him well. Oh god, oh no, 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 I thought. What? I don't understand. Obito's jutsu is small and is very average. Yeah, sorry, Obito. It's alright, I said. Average? That? No, 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 the guy said. What? What are you talking about? Of course, he put me in a fire barrier. I burnt my elbow, but didn't just let it stop me. After a bit of pain, my elbow felt I charged, but he cut himself off. Of course, I knew why and even felt bad. I should have gone easier on him. Please continue, Minato said with a very serious gaze switched between me and the criminal. The criminal tells Minato about the jutsu that he used, and it is a S-class jutsu which it surrounds S-class jutsu which surrounds himself in a fire aura, which he then releases like a tornado, then fire solar heat wave bullets, and finally finishes it using a great fireball technique. Then added immense amount of chakra to it, and finally compressed as a ball, as fire as a strong beam. I use fire style myself, that's why I know that. That jutsu is at an incredibly high level, that being S class. I know that jutsu. It's a top fire style Corona Blaster. I simply cannot see Obito using that jutsu. That jutsu, it would be impossible. My chakra is clearly at the same level as the last many years. I wonder why Sensei can't sense it, I thought. Flashback end. But even though he said that he kept a close eye on me, as if looking to see if I was lying or if the criminal was telling the truth, that I was truly a S-class shinobi. Minato's point of view. I know that I know that being weird and probably a bad sensei for thinking this, but I had a strong feeling that Obito wasn't telling the truth. He does know he can come to me with his problems, right? Has he been training with someone else and choosing not to tell me why? I didn't like it, not at all, but still, even though I was sure that Obito was hiding something, I just couldn't believe that he uses class jutsus. Surely I couldn't have missed that. Excuse me, sir. I looked down and saw that our client, the little adorable yet so important Yuki Mishashi. Yeah, yes. I was just wondering, what does S class mean? I mean, is it something bad? Oh, huh? Oh, no, no, no. S class basically means extremely powerful, dangerous, high leveled, or possibly even feared. It's a it's a rank used to describe the highest you can possibly achieve. It's only bad if it's a S class criminal or an enemy or perhaps a traitor. But Mr. Obito is neither, right? He doesn't seem bad, he seems nice. She was right, and there was probably any possibility that Obito was in S class or maybe just higher than B. I couldn't possibly believe that he would be a traitor. What am I? Why am I just letting the words of a low-life criminal get to me? Obito is just a kid. Nowhere he's S class. Yeah, that's right. Obito is a very good person. I reassured the little girl, and afterwards looked over towards Obito on the other side of the campfire. He was trying to start a conversation with Toshino. Seems like Toshino doesn't quite appreciate it. Obito's point of view. So, what's the story about those burn marks, buddy? Obviously, you got them in a fight. That's clear to see, no? It doesn't matter. It's in the past. I don't want to talk about it. It's not important. Well, alright. Hey, where are you going? Rin asked me. Oh, wait, nature calls. Oh, nature calls. After realizing I still had my jutsu arsenal, I had to check something out. There was a lake nearby. I went to it. It wasn't windy, so I could easily see my own reflection. But before I did what I was planning to, I quickly scanned the surroundings area. Not many know this, but I'm actually listed as a sensory shinobi. So after not picking up any chakra signatures, I once again stared down on my reflection. I barely closed my eyes as I took a deep breath and focused my chakra into my eyes. When I opened my eyes again, they were deep red with the black mangekyo patterns. I don't know whether it is good or bad that my strength is the same. Bad because I'll bite it. Bad because it will be hard to try and not use it. Good, I don't have to go through all the training again and it will make things easier. Also, now I have some excuse about how I somewhere along the line got the Sharingan and probably Mangekyo Sharingan in the future. I realized I must have been away for quite a while now, so I went back to camp. Oh wow, I didn't know that he had perfected that. That's great for him, was the first thing I heard when I walked into camp. It was Rin talking to Toshino. I sat down and in the little space between them and asked about it. Oh, we were talking about how Toshino got the burning marks. He was in a fight with Osma. Osma? What for? Did you hit on Kuranai or something? I asked. Rin giggled and Toshino suddenly got consumed in an awkward silence, and I pretty much knew what that meant. Yeah, you definitely did. Minato's point of view. It was late at night, so late that everyone was sleeping, but not me. I needed to think, and I needed to think hard. What had I been missing? What had I been wrong? I know, to be honest, I couldn't find the answer, and it was truly frustrating. When Obito left the camp to go for his business, I sent a shadow clone to go follow Obito. My shadow clone was hiding on a tree when Obito went to the lake, and it concealed its chakra. I saw Obito looking into the pond water and his eyes turned red like the Sharingan, but it had no Tomoes in it. It was weird. I don't understand what it was. I need to. Was Obito. I was happy that Obito unlocked his Sharingan, but why did he not tell me that he unlocked his Sharingan? And he always says that he was going to beat Kakashi when he unlocked his Sharingan. So, if he unlocked his Sharingan, why didn't he not challenge Kakashi to a fight and try to beat him? And nowadays, he did not even try and challenge Kakashi to a fight. So, I think, that might be the reason, but I don't know. I need to ask Obito what he is hiding. Why was he not telling about him having the Sharingan? Yeah. But before that, I need to go to Fugaku and ask him what that Sharingan, that weird looking Sharingan is, and I also need to confront Obito about it someday soon. It was a big mess. My head was pounding with a headache caused by all of this. Obito was always talking and bragging about. Some days later, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You all are really kind and have helped me. Our client, the feudal lord's grandchild, thanked us, while Toshino bowed his head in our direction. It was early since we arrived faster than we anticipated, so we could get a head start and begin walking back home towards Konoha. I just hoped I would get a chance to confront Obito about all this. In's point of view. First of all, Minato sensei looked really stressed and seemed to be in deep thought from the look on his face that was clearly visible. Second of all, Obito's behavior seemed to change a lot. He seemed more mature, he wasn't as loud, and he didn't pick fights with Kakashi anymore. All that is good and well in the right amount, but it wasn't the right amount. It was too much. I might add his behavior changed a lot when it came to me. He was distant, didn't talk to me much, and it seemed like he wasn't comfortable around me at all. And the more I thought about it, the more it hurt. Kakashi's point of view. I know I'm not the one who's realizing it. I look around while walking back to Konoha. Sensei is stressed and is constantly eyeing Obito. Obito is quiet and seems to be very uncomfortable. Rin looked sad, I'm guessing because of Obito's sudden change. And to be honest, I didn't like it either. Sure, I loved the fact that Obito left me alone and wasn't the loudmouth anymore, but something odd was going on. Also, when the criminal told us about Obito being an S class, I saw that Obito was actually getting nervous. Might even describe it was as if he was scared. I have theories as to why this was happening, but I didn't have enough proof yet. Obito's point of view. My world is legit crashing down around me. Or rather, I'm falling apart. I'm 31 years old, but I have to I'm 13 years. That's really tough. This is the personality I'm used to, and it is kinda just staying with me, even though I'm trying to change it, and that's really bad. I'm getting far too carefree, and I have noticed that everyone on the team have began to catch on to me, especially Sensei. Which is why starting to think if I should tell Minato Sensei the truth. Of course, keep a few details like I'm the one responsible for him and his wife's death. If I explained it carefully in details, then maybe he would help. Especially if I told him that if he helped, we could end up a bunch of people, which practically includes the entire team. Wanting some time away from the team to think, I volunteered to get the firewood, which were normally what took the most time. Rin would get water, Kakashi would start the fire, and lastly Minato would prepare the food. Explain why Minato got the easiest job? Our food was pretty much just red beans. I had noticed Rin giving me look. I noticed that the looks Rin was giving me during our travels. Sad look with a mix of confusion. I could easily guess why. Yes, I know I was acting rude, but I told Minato I had given up on her, which wasn't true, so I had to act like I actually had. And yes, that doesn't mean I have to go out of my way just to avoid her, but it is pretty much hard. But it was pretty much hard for me to keep the facade up around him. Not just that, but I felt an enormous amount of guilt. The things I did, Rin would never expect them. And yet I said that I was doing it for her, so that I could see her again. And then I failed, and yet I'm here, standing beside her. She looked like just as I remembered, her acting just like she used to, even more guilt. Hey, I said, awkwardly. Have I done something wrong? Rin asked me. I'm sorry. I know I've just been acting like a jerk, but it's not your fault. It's just. Just what? She asked me angrily. I just don't know. What was I supposed to say? I didn't have any good lies up my sleeve at the moment. We've been best friends for years, and you've never been like this before. It's just not how you act around me. But you changed so much, she said and stood up. Then, done collecting the water. Then she continued. Once you figured out a good and honest answer, please tell me. And then she started to walking towards the direction of the camp. Well, that went well. As I said, I'm not good around Rin. But what exactly should I tell her? I can't really say, I'm sorry, but I'm an S-class criminal who killed thousands of people and started the fourth great ninja war, all for you. Please don't hate me. Yeah, cause that's practically the recipe to getting your friends to hate you in 26 words. Obito's point of view. I don't know what's going on with you, but cut it out, Kakashi yelled at me. You want me to change from who I am? No way, I said, sounding angry. Haha, if you always change, you're always ahead on that one. You're not yourself, he said, pointing an accusing finger at me. I spent 17 years living an utter and complete lie, but now that I know, I realized my mistakes. The guilt was getting to me, and I couldn't think clear. Actually, ever since Naruto released the 10 tails from me, I wasn't able to think 100% clear. But being sent back in time surely did the job. Look who's talking, I finally spoke up. Excuse me, Kakashi said. I've noticed lately you haven't talked down or picked on me at all, I continued to tell him. Like how I live my life is any of your business, he judgmentally and irritatedly told me. Well, in that case, then how I live my life is none of your business either, right? Now Kakashi was quiet. I'm not an idiot. Whatever is going on with you, I'll figure out in due time. Why do you care so much all of a sudden? He looked at me dead in the eyes and said, "It's not that I care. I just want to know if you're a threat or not." I began going through everything I had done since the day I came back to this time. Yes, I found many flaws. While trying to be like my past self, I unconsciously began acting like more like my future self. Why is this so hard? I thought to myself. I was fairly sure that the reason I haven't been on the right track is because guilt and stress. Wait, why am I so nervous? I mean, if I can carry out a plan to start an war, I surely can also avoid an ambush, I told myself in my mind. We had all finished eating our rations, but it wasn't like it used to be. Normally, we would all chat about our private life, missions, or completely random stuff. But everyone was quiet today, and I know that it was my fault. Minato's. I mean, I'm thinking of telling them that I am from the future, but I just don't know who to tell. Minato's point of view. Everyone was quiet, creating a thick tension around us, and I decided to talk. "I think we need to talk," I said. "You're acting strange. You are not yourself, but especially you, Obito," I said. They all stayed quiet, and Obito also averted his gaze back to the ground, holding his right hand in his left hand, clenching them hard, clearly being stressed. "Kids, please talk to me. I'll listen," I told them, hoping at least one of them would open up. Or rather, I was hoping Obito to open up. I suspected Rin or Kakashi's behavior was affected by Obito, but I didn't want to call Obito out on his own, so I'm making Rin and Kakashi part of it as well. Not with them knowing, of course. "Okay, anyways, Obito, how's it going with your family?" I asked. "What do you mean?" he asked, confused. "Well, it's not a secret that you aren't really accepted by the other Uchihas. Has that changed?" Huh? No. Why would it change? I don't know. Maybe there was cats, new lights, or the case or something. Well, they haven't. They are still as arrogant as always. "Want me to talk about it?" I offered in a friendly voice. Maybe that's why he didn't say anything about his Sharingan. Because he's angry at the Uchiha, and therefore himself. When the village was founded, one of the agreements was that Hokage can't interfere with the Uchiha clan. So even if you wanted to, you can't. Well, where did that come from? First of all, how does he know about the arrangement? Second of all, I might be next in line, but I'm not the Hokage. Obito, but I'm not the Hokage. No. When I said that, he twitched with a bolt of shock that was quickly gone again. Of course, I know that, but it is not even. But even if not, even the Hokage can interfere. What makes you think you can? When you are just another average Jonin to them. Please don't try to argue. They won't listen, and then I'll just be scolded for later. "Why do you even stay if it's that bad? Then move away." Kakashi joined in the conversation. "It's what I know, that they may be jerks, but they're family. It's also not everyone that means something. Someone is actually nice." "Doesn't really sound like suiting life," Kakashi said. "It is, but it is what it is, and at least I can choose how much time I use at home and how much time I use roaming the village." Obito's point of view. I had to be really careful now. I had almost just failed. I made the mistake of comparing Minato with Hokage, which she practically is in my mind and memories, but not in this time. And they were also talking about my clan. It is true that when I actually was this age, I stayed because it was one of the only thing I knew as a home. But now I am stayed to stop the Uchiha coup d'etat before it can grow into a problem. I don't actually know when it started, so for my knowledge, it could already be underway. I just hope that Itachi won't have to dirty his hands he did in my line. And also, I'll make a personal mission to get Donzo out of the way. He got a bad habit of destroying all plans that aren't his, and of course, stealing the Sharingan. Well, this time I won't let him. I should probably make a note of everything I need to do. Yeah, prevent Carnaby bridge disaster, prevent Rin getting kidnapped by the mist, make sure Madara dies, seal Black Zetsu away, destroy Gedo statue, prevent Uchiha coup d'etat and therefore preventing the massacre, make sure Kakashi is safe. Yamato slash Tenzo is rescued from Donzo. Reform Orochimaru. I'm sure there is much more, but I can't come up with more right now. I thought mentally and noted everything. Kakashi's point of view. Ah, well, this is new. We got home from the mission. Obito was still the same state, stressed and uncomfortable. And out of the blue, just began walking home. So what do? I follow him, of course. And what happens? He senses me and invites me in. So I'm now sitting in front of a very distressed Obito in his house, practically looking like a war zone. Scrolls are everywhere. Reports are scattered along with books. Maps looking to have a marked area are on the table, and on the wall a calendar with a big red circle around a specific date next week. What is all this? What have you been doing? I asked him, almost awestruck at what I have seen. Preparation. Preparation to what? Our coming mission, he finally answered. It shocked me. Though I didn't show. I didn't think Obito prepared for the missions. But why? Is this something you'd run long? Not long on your perspective, but for me it's been pretty long. What does supposed to mean, Nobito? Can't you just tell me the truth? You want the truth? Okay, I'll tell you what's going on, but you have to keep it between you and me, okay? Got it? I nodded. He was finally going to tell me what's going on with him. I'm not the one you think I am. Don't get me wrong. I am Obito, Uchiha, but not the one you know. What are you talking about, Obito? You are Obito. This may sound crazy to you, but I'm from 18 years from the future. You are officially lost your mind, I told him. No way, there is no way that time travel isn't real. Obito sighed and began scratching his head, surely figure out how to make me believe the obvious lie. Listen, you don't have to believe me. Just don't tell Sensei. I'm begging you. I wanted to tell Sensei, but something deep inside me told me to believe in Obito. So despite not completely believing him, I started to question him. Let's say what what you are saying is true. Why come to this time? In a matter of fact, I had no control over the situation that brought me here. But I guess since it's here everything began. What do you mean? In just a few days you are officially promoted to a jonin on this date. He pointed at the calendar. You will lead our team on our first mission without sensei. And it goes bad. Bad? Bad? How? What mission about it was what mission was it anyway? The mission was simple. Destroy Kanabi Bridge. We were ambushed and Rin was kidnapped for interrogation by Stone Ninja. I went after her while you went to go with the mission. But when I got to where they had taken her, a small cave in the forest, you had followed. By pushing me out of the way of an attack, you lose your left eye and I awakened my Sharingan. Is that all? I lost an eye? That's no big deal. You're right. For a shinobi, a lot of things are much worse than that. But that's not where it ended. We still needed to save Rin, and we did by fighting her kidnappers. But one escaped. He used an earth style to make the cave collapse. You fell unconscious when the rock hit your blind spot in the head. I threw you out of the way just before a giant rock fell from the roof and completely crushing my right side. I sat wide-eyed. I still wasn't sure to believe him, but he seemed so sincere and honest. If that truly was the future, then continue. I told him. I desperately wanted to hear what happened, and he said he was from 18 years into the future. This event was that would happen in a week, which meant he survived. Right. Well, I blamed myself for what happened to your eye, and therefore gave you my Sharingan eye to replace the eye you lost. You fought the remaining enemies, and the cave collapsed. To the crumbling. So I was completely buried. I was saved by another Uchiha, who was thought to be many years ago. However, he was evil. I am pretty sure you'll know who it is if I say his name was Madara Uchiha. How is it possible? Madara died ages ago fighting the first Hokage Hashirama Senju. There is no way that he survived that. I saw him. I understand that. Trust, there is no mistaking it. Trust me, you'll never believe just how powerful Madara truly is. Obito, I believe him. Obito is telling the truth. But how? The world just doesn't work that way. Time travel is supposed to be impossible. Okay, but still, back to the starting point. How did you do it? How did you time travel here? It was when I died. I suppose my soul was maybe transferred here. A mere moment after my death. But why? Why is it me? I'm not the one who deserves a second chance. Not after everything I did. It seems like he was talking to himself more than me. Like he was in a trance, completely forgetting I was there. He was shaking and holding his eyes closed. Something happened to him. Something bad. Something that was haunting him. What are you talking about, Obito? What is it that you've done that makes you think you don't deserve a chance to live the life you are supposed to? There are many. Alright, which one should we focus on after we succeed with the Kanabi Bridge? Cause trust me, we will. You sound so much like your future self right now, Kakashi. I guess you are showing your true self, Obito said with a chuckle. I, I was shocked. I hadn't even noticed I had put my walls down. It felt pretty nice. Obito's point of view. I hated remembering it, but Kakashi had to know everything that happened 18 years ago, including Rin's death and the fourth Great Ninja War. The next thing that happened after the Kanabe Bridge is I felt sick. I didn't want to remember that day. Not only had Rin died, but I had went on a rampage, killing so many shinobi that only did what their village told them. They weren't evil, they were just loyal to their village and Mizukage. Go on, Kakashi said. The next thing happens after Kanabe Bridge is Rin becomes a Jinchuriki, then committing suicide. I said with a single breath. Made sure not to talk for too fast. I wouldn't have to repeat myself again. Rin, what? Kakashi mumbled in disbelief. I had turned my head away so I wouldn't see his reaction. But now I looked up. The only thing I could see on Kakashi's face was terror. But Rin, she's always so happy. See, she didn't commit suicide because she didn't want to live anymore. She did it to protect the village. I understood Kakashi's reaction completely. Despite being hardcore and thought to shock, a conversation about suicide could often set him off track. After all, his memories, he was scared for life when Sakumo Hatake, Kakashi's father, committed suicide when Kakashi was only 8 years old. Remember, I said she became a Jinchuriki. The rain village sealed the Sanbi, the three tails, inside Rin with a weak seal so that she stepped into the village, the seal would break and the Sanbi would go on a rampage and destroy Konoha. Yeah, I see. But please tell me, how did she die? Your Chidori. What? My Chidori? It's not finished yet. It's It is. Then you were charging at the enemy. Then jumped from a small cloud to your left and ran directly into your Chidori. It pierced her heart. Don't blame yourself, please. I killed her. Do you want some water? Yes, please. Please don't tell me anyone else could die. Anyone else close to us die. Sorry. Who dies? Please tell me. I need to know. I know you do. The people who died in the next 18 years are Asuma, Hayate, Old Man Told Hokage, Jiraiya, Shikaku, Inoichi, and Minato, Kushina, and the Uchiha, except three of them. Oh god. But don't worry, I already fixed a bunch of them. How long have you been here, Obito? I mean, in this time period. About a week and a half. How how have you fixed it all? It would have taken a longer than that to change that many people's fate. Well, you see, I don't really want to tell Kakashi about this, but I have to. There is no other way. Where should I start? I guess I'll just start from the beginning. Yes, beginning. Being around people like Madara leaves an effect. He held me captive for an entire year. He trained me for an entire year. He manipulated me for an entire year. What do you mean? What did he manipulate you to do? To kill and to do what he had done, just better and with higher success rate. You see, after I was free, Rin's death had hit me hard, really hard. Mother had plans, and at that time they sounded good, like something that would actually work. So I took Madara's identity, he died this time for real, so I continued to let everyone think that I was dead. To kill, take his identity, stay hidden. Obito, what have you done? He asked. When I was 15 years old, 1 year after I took Madara's identity, I tried to capture the nine-tailed fox. I almost succeeded. I managed to control it for a little bit time, but Minato ended up sealing it up into his newborn baby boy. I don't believe this. That's what killed Kushina. Then you, no, not just Kushina, Minato too, and a very big part of Konoha population. I retreated till 8 years later when I was 24. Me and my cousin Itachi slaughtered the Uchiha clan completely. The only survivors were me, Itachi, his younger brother Sasuke, who was 8 at the same time. I left the village alone till Itachi died 6 years later. I sent some of the people working for me to the Akatsuki, Conan and Nagato, who used a sort of control doll named Pain. Pain was the one fighting, and in the end, Konoha was reduced nothing but a big crater. However, thanks to Nagato's change of heart, everyone survived. Continue. I want to tell me everything you've done, all of the horrible deeds you committed, and after that I will judge you whether I trust you or not. Alright, Nagato died, but he possessed a great jutsu in his eyes. A rare Kikigenkai, the Renegan. I killed Conan to get Nagato's corpse when I took his eyes and transplanted one of them into my left eye socket. With that power, I started the fourth great ninja war and the five united nations against me, and a army of 10,000 Zetsus, a legion of reanimated shinobis, which means shinobis brought back to life for a little period of time using another human sacrifice. So many people died during that war. Madara was one of these reanimated shinobis. In other words, it was absolute hell on earth. Some way into the war, Naruto, who is Minato's kid, gave me a talk to the heart, and I had forgotten what it felt like to actually be someone. But he reminded me, and I turned on Madara. Even though if I did that, I can never atone for all those lives I took. I can't believe you done that. All of that. You, the boy who would cry on every mission, have killed thousands or many hundreds, maybe hundred thousands. And for exactly, did you have any goal or was it just to show off your power? Kakashi was fuming. It wouldn't be weird if he wasn't. Hearing like this from a person who did it all. Yeah, he had every right in the world to hate me. What What did you do? What did you think would happen? Tell me you turned good after all. You done and then I'll forgive you. I've only you done horrible things, Obito. Things that only a monster would do. You might actually think I was hurt by Kakashi's words, but I wasn't. I had actually expected it to be much, much worse. I actually thought he would chidore me in the heart and try to kill me. You know what? I can't. You. Ah, he said, and then proceeded to storm out of my door. He swung it open, walked outside, and slammed the door so hard that one of the pictures hanging on the wall fell off. Kakashi's point of view. All those horrible things surely made him a criminal, and I was gonna help him. A criminal? No way, no way. He killed Minato and Kushina, one of the last people that I care about. That then there's Rin too, who I kill. Why does my future have so much death in it? I wish I knew how my future self handled this situation. I raised my head to look around my surroundings. I was shocked that I was standing in front of Kushina and Minato Sensei's house. I guess I subconsciously walked here to tell them what's going on. Was this the right thing to do? I mean, sure, Obito had done some horrible stuff, but if you look at it the right way, he actually hadn't done anything yet, and he's doing everything in his might to make sure that it doesn't happen. Even if he's a horrible person, is it worth working with him to make sure the village and everyone I care for stay safe? Absolutely. I didn't like it at all. At all. But I was walking back towards Obito's home to get the full story. I knocked on his home. Knock, knock, knock. I heard footsteps on the other side. Slowly, the door opened. Obito looked surprised for a good 2 seconds before he got an amused look on his face. So, wanna come in? He asked. I stepped in and closed the door behind me. Well, he still had his face towards the door. I suddenly got the urge to elbow him in the head, so that's just what I did. His face planted hard into the door. I could hear him chuckling and mumbling. I guess I deserved that one. We went to the couch and I continued to ask him questions, though after hearing everything from before, I wasn't very comfortable here at all, and I'm very sure that Obito noticed it. I want to know if that war had a goal at all. It did. It was called the Eye of the Moon Plan, mostly known as the Infinite Tsukuyomi. The Infinite Tsukuyomi is a genjutsu trap. It can only be activated by using a Renegan and the Ten Tails in its final stage. And yes, I know what you are going to say, that the Ten Tails is a myth, but it can be revived if you capture all nine-tailed beasts and seal them into a creature called the Gedo statue. The Infinite Tsukuyomi, the Sharingan reflects on the moon, capturing all the people in the world in their own dreams. I wanted this because it was supposed to be a perfect world. Each person trapped could live their perfect world, and since it was a dream, these who are dead could be alive once again. I see. You wanted Rin back. You wanted a world where Rin wouldn't have, where Rin didn't die. Exactly. But the influence of Koyomi is a trap. Those under its influence gets wrapped in the veins of the Ten Tails. The last stage is known as the Divine Tree. What me and Madara didn't expect is that those wrapped up in it are slowly dying. The Divine Tree is slowly absorbing their chakra, and when that process begins, another threat will emerge. Kaguya Otsutsuki, the first ever person to obtain chakra. She is practically a god, an evil god at that. We know that if she was around, we couldn't undo the infinite Tsukuyomi. So, so as that wasn't under the influence of the Tsukuyomi, which was me, you, Naruto, Sasuke, and their teammates, Sakura fought her. It wasn't going very well, and then she shot an attack at Naruto and Sasuke. I shielded Naruto, you shielded Sasuke. However, I used last of my chakra to stop the attack that was going to hit you. So you survived, but I was hit and I died. I don't know whether they won or not. I assume I never will. Wait, you saved me? Why? You still had a lot of unfinished business in the world of the living. Also, I hoped that I could get some time with Rin alone before you came and got all of the attention like always. Yeah, and how did that go for you? You're not dead. You're very much alive. I felt my anger towards Obito get a bit smaller. It wasn't gone at all, but it was getting better. Yeah, and well, I guess I also did it because like it or not, I see you as a brother. Is that how you always felt? Yeah, just took me a while to realize. Minato's point of view. I went to the Uchiha compound. I needed to ask why Obito's Sharingan was different from the normal ones. I went to the Uchiha's head and to head house. It was Fugaku Uchiha's house. I went and knocked on the door. Hi Minato, what brings you here? Uh, Mikoto asked. Mikoto is wife of the head of the Uchiha clan, Fugaku. Is there hello Mikoto? I need to talk to Fugaku regarding my student Obito Uchiha. Is there something wrong with him? I surely don't hope so. I'm here to have that clarified. I see. Well, come in. I'll fetch Fugaku for you. Fugaku and I were sitting in front of each other in the office. I understand there might be a problem with Obito, but I do not know why you would come here. After all, I'm not his guardian. But you are the leader of the Uchiha clan, Obito's clan. But actually, this isn't something a guardian would know, if I am guessing correctly. While we were on a while we were on my last mission, I saw Obito going to a lake alone. I followed him and concealed my chakra. He looked into a river and activated his Sharingan. But it wasn't a regular Sharingan. It had a weird pattern in it. It you sure say that Obito is only a little kid, so he couldn't. You sure say if you says Obito is only a little kid, so he couldn't possibly. He couldn't possibly what? Do you know what's going on? I have a theory. Follow me. Fugaku's point of view. I never show it, and especially not to Minato next in line to be Hokage. But I was practically terrified. If Obito actually possessed the Mangekyo Sharingan, then now I understand why I felt a familiar chakra when Obito walked past me the other day. Uh, I think he subconsciously let his chakra fail, which made me catch on to Obito's secret power. Of course, at that moment, I didn't exactly know anything other than that Obito was more than he was letting on. But then Minato told me about the unusual Sharingan pattern he had seen in Obito's reflection. And at that moment, I know what exactly it was. The Mangekyo Sharingan that everyone thinks is a myth isn't a myth, it's reality. So a Mangekyo Sharingan user as myself, I've studied it, found all the scrolls I could regarding it, and then my best to code the ancient stone tablet. My trains of thought stopped when we came to a double door made of wood. It led to a library where I had my scrolls stored, that also being the scrolls of the Mangekyo Sharingan. You said you couldn't see the patterns clearly, right? That's right, Minato said. Could you at least see if the patterns were straight pattern? Well, I'm not sure. It wasn't completely straight, more like very slightly bent, he said. Please, Fugaku, you know what's going on with Obito much clearer. But are you actually going to tell me? He asked. There is a stage beyond the normal Sharingan, I told him. It's called the Mangekyo Sharingan. It's a pattern unique to each user. Minato's point of view. I looked shocked as Fugaku's eyes began changing and the pattern began taking the form of three dots followed by a curve spiraling counterclockwise around the pupil. Clearly a Sharingan, but like Obito's, it was much different in design. I trust this stays between us, Namikaze, he said. Of course, I assured him. Just like with every next stage of the Sharingan, the vision becomes much clearer. But the Mangekyo is more than just, of course, the pattern, more than just the patterns, of course. You a Mangekyo Sharingan grants the user different abilities. Each Mangekyo Sharingan everyone has a different ability in their eyes. People can't have the same ability. The abilities of the Mangekyo Sharingan are well above S-class jutsus. May I ask what your ability is, Fugaku? My ability is called Taimu Taimuwaizu. It allows me to freeze anything in my line of sight, even time that includes people. However, I can only maintain it as long as I keep my eyes open on the target. I was this deeply shocked. This is the kind of power bestowed upon those who awaken their Mangekyo Sharingan. Does that mean that Obito might have the power just as great? My train of thought stopped when Fugaku coughed to get my attention. He handed me the scrolls. He handed me few scrolls. I cannot tell you everything, but there is a big chance that you'll not like what I am going to tell you. Yes, I understand, but I'm not backing down. I know you wouldn't. Take a seat. So, when a person unlocks the Mangekyo Sharingan, they to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan, a person must feel the very traumatic emotion that is more that only emerges when you have the feeling of killing your best friend. That is equal to that of killing the best friend. I can assure you that Obito hasn't killed his best friend. Oh yes, I know that. I saw her this morning at the market. But do you know if Obito has been in a real tough situation lately? Well, that makes things a bit more rough, but I actually think there is some other things you might need to know. Unfortunately, because of the pure raw power of the Mangekyo, not all can handle it. Specify handle it. It happened before that. When a Mangekyo emerges, the user, to say it blunt, they lose their minds. It's thought that the Mangekyo is the reason for Madara Uchiha's evil. Losing their minds, Madara? You mean like a very violent sort? Exactly. It's not when they lose their abilities like a handicap, but they simply lose the power to divide right from wrong. I just wanted to warn you, if Obito is acting up, it might be more than just teenager rebellion. Also, one more thing before you go. Obito will probably not be using the Mangekyo Sharingan abilities. I don't know why he is keeping it a secret, but if he knows what his ability is and if he has used it, every time he uses it, his eyesight is he loses a part of his eyesight. So so he could so if he just continuously keeps using it, he could possibly go blind. Obito's point of view. So, 1 week till our lives are being destroyed. No pressure, Kaka said. Chill. This time I'm pretty sure I can dodge a stupid rock. Why don't we just say no? Say no. Yeah, like we get sick when the vision comes. So, we don't go. I thought about that too, but no. I don't want to mix up too much with the original timeline. A bit late, don't you think? I gave him a look that said set up. I wish it was just so easy. It was easy as just to say no to doing the mission. But something in my gut told me to do the mission. And over the last few years, I began trusting my gut. I mean, it often worked, even in the middle of a fight. Talking about late. Look at the time. It's almost midnight. We should really get some sleep. Oh, I didn't realize it was this late, but we'll continue tomorrow after the mission, right? I actually gotta admit that I was shocked how determined Kakashi was about this whole thing. Okay, of course we will. You can just crash here tonight. I'll go get a futon from my supply closet. Oh, okay, thanks. he said while climbing out of the pile of papers. This might be one of the most important plans in our life, and therefore making us stop stressed. But I couldn't help being happy about it. I could no longer say that this was how it used to be all those years ago. Things were different now. One of the big differences being that me and Kakashi is starting to become great friends. Obito's point of view. Today we have a low D rank mission. It was just the usual finding a lost pet or something. I wasn't completely sure since I was really paying attention today. Why you ask? It was because Rin, the expression on her face and how her bubbly personality had dropped over the few days. There is no mystery in it. It was my fault. Just goes to show how big of an idiot I truly am. Huh? I just made up on my mind. I was going to talk to her. I wasn't going to tell her the truth. Not yet. But I would apologize. Obito, get moving. I heard Minato's voice. Obito, he yelled. Sorry, I said. I went back to staring off into space, trying to make a plan on how to execute the talk I would have to have with Rin. I was interrupted, however, again when I heard a low ruffling in the bush. To my left, too small for a human, too tiny to be a squirrel. As I said, we were probably out catching some runaway pet. I didn't take up any of my weapons. I just lifted my arms up, ready to catch whatever the animal was going to jump out of the bush. After a few seconds, a dog jumped out. It was a dog brown in color. Sensei, what is it we were looking for again? I asked, believing that this was the pet we were looking for. A brown dog that has a blue collar on it and goes by the name Masa. Oh, if you and after that I looked at the collar. Yep, it was blue. On the collar was named the Masa. Well, in which case I found the target, I told them. Okay, good. Okay guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching What If Obito Traveled Back in Time Part 2. Part 3 will be uploaded next week or right now. I already finished it. I already finished recording Part 3, but I think but I can't upload it right now. I might upload it tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and I will record Part 4 next Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye.